This week's specials for Miles Franklin are 1 ounce 2023 silver Krugerrands only $3.10 over spot, along with backdated 10th ounce gold maples for only $29 over melt. We have new specials every single Monday, affordable prices, and one of the largest inventories of precious metals I've personally ever seen. Email me, slayer@milesfranklin.com, or call me at 330-485-6172. That is 330-485-6172. Now let's jump into the video. Yeah, so we got a whole bunch of questions that I wanna shoot across to you. I think this is gonna be really fun. I always like hearing what other people want to ask you, because it's always me being the one. So can you see the screen right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I said, if you had one question to ask for Andy for this week's show, what would you ask? So we have a lot of them. I hearted a couple that I really wanted to hear. So the first one is, this is from Brian Van Winkle 8951. The Texas lady that bought $50 million in precious metals last summer, how much would that cost her to purchase the same amount today?
That's kind of a tough question, because here gets to the question on premiums.
Yeah.
She bought over 900,000 silver eagles and a bunch of jug silver and a bunch of gold. I'd have to look at the numbers, but we did 2 orders of over 50 million. The second one, I'll explain, she's way ahead. The first one, she paid, I want to say over $12.50 premium per silver eagle. That's how crazy things were when she bought it.
It was,
and wanted it. And I remember it was Bill Holter who it was his client, and he's a representative of Miles Franklin, and I was saying, these premiums are insane. Well, that doesn't matter. She wants them. That's what she wants. So I think it would be challenging to figure out, when you subtract the premium back out of it, is she ahead or not? I did another one for $52 million last year in August, maybe October of last year, I think it was. And you're more familiar with that one, I think. Silver was bought way over 1 million ounces of silver at $18 an ounce. So do the math, at 28 almost. She's up 10 million bucks easy on that. And the majority of the silver she bought were in 1,000-ounce bars.
Oh my God.
At rings.
So you're saying this lady just already is up $10 million?
That's only on half of the order, though. I mean, the other half was in gold, and that gold was,
oh my
I don't know, 1900. So, she's all in, she's up millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Tens of millions. Oh my gosh. I never thought of it like that.
But wow. That's the thing, it's just all about size, But percentage-wise, gold and silver have done very well. When you look at it in that light, you can understand that percentages, these percentages that we see in cryptocurrencies and NVIDIA stock, they're not real. I mean, they are, but they're not. I mean, from a historical standpoint, if you make 7 or 8% a year, you're a rock star. And gold and silver have certainly done that over the last several years. They're not keeping pace with things that are moving in a exponential fashion, like those assets, and largely due to $6 trillion worth of money created in the last 12 months, where if you spent $100 every second of every day, 24 hours a day, it would take you almost 2,000 years to equal that 6 trillion that we spent in 12 months. But when you have interest rates for the past 15 years that have been suppressed and all that money, you get all the distortions in these asset prices. Gold and silver have been the only ones that haven't been distorted yet. Everything else has. So you can see that they've actually done quite well. And if you have a large amount of money and put it away, you can actually make a lot too. And in her case, she did.
You should call her up and be like, hey, you realize you're already up.
I talk with her all the time about that. I send her messages all the time.
That's insane.
And to be honest with you, she only wanted gold. When she called, she only wanted $52 million worth of gold. And ironically enough, as you know, she heard about me on your show. And I don't know if people know that. You know that. But we had a long talk about silver, and she reluctantly put roughly half of it into silver and thanks me every day for that.
So this one is really funny. Okay, well, all right. So we'll go to this one first because this is an important one. There's no particular order, but this person says we desperately need a simplified version of silver manipulation mechanisms. People have understood, or people have to understand how much power does JP Morgan really have? Why is the metal deriving value from its paper derivative? Andy needs new verbiage. Current ones stopped working years ago. It will push him to nuclear logic. Make him explain it as if he was talking to a child. That's literally explain it to a child if you could break it down like that.
I mean, in essence, the very, very, very big banks who have tremendous amounts of money, they sell silver and gold that they don't even possess. It's called naked onto the marketplace by selling paper contracts that offer tremendous leverage. And each contract of gold is 100 ounces. Each contract of silver is 5,000 ounces. And if you have enough money where you can sell these paper contracts that push down the price, you can suppress the paper price. And these big banks know where the positioning is on all of the hedge funds. They know where they're positioned. They know their pain points. And most of the people trading in COMEX, gambling in it, if you will, the funds, well, they don't have pain tolerance. They're in it to make little bits of money all the time. And so if they speculate and go long, meaning they're buying it, they think the price is going up, these banks like Bank of America, who is short 1 billion ounces of silver, they can continue to suppress the price by selling paper contracts onto the market to drive down the paper price. It has nothing to do with physical reality. And that works until you get entities and sovereign nations who use that against us, like they're doing now. And that's why you see massive draining of all of the exchanges. What it basically is there is the way that the COMEX market was set up was with tremendous leverage that you can control the price of these commodities if you have enough money by selling or buying them on paper. The paper market is what derives the price, not the physical commodity. That needs to change. And it just allows the very, very big money to control the paper price. It's a very hard, I'll think about that one and maybe come back next week with a more articulate answer. But
Yeah.
that's as basic as I can get, is that the paper market is a levered form of the real thing, really is detached from it in the respect that these banks who have endless amounts of money, or Bank of America, can sell short 1 billion ounces of paper to the market. They don't have those billion ounces. They sell it to the marketplace, which drives down the price. And that's in essence how they suppress it. And that's been going on for a very long time. I'll think of a more clear way. Kind of caught me off guard on that one. And maybe let's circle back and talk,
Yeah.
bookmark that and ask me
Yeah.
that question again next week when we do our next show, and I'll have
Yeah.
a more articulate answer.
Okay. Yeah, I like doing these questions because I like, having giving other people a chance. I also, price manipulation also a very common one is like spoofing, like placing false or buy sell orders on the exchanges and then canceling the order before it goes through, which is what those three people that got sent to prison, or the two people that got sent to prison, Michael Nowak, I think, is like the,
Yep.
and then
No,
yeah, and then the one for RICO charges. But
they dropped those.
so this person says, I've been thinking lately about when we go to CBDC, where do we think the price of physical silver and gold could go? Could it be separated from the paper price since it would be the only currency available for under the table transaction? This is a weird question. This is one of those like, or even if not separated from the paper price, could the metals be in more demand, driving up price since they would be the only tangible forms of payment left? That's
Well, I
a
mean, but
weird,
the question is price. What's he measuring price against?
yeah.
You know,
It's hard to
value or
tell.
price is not arbitrarily measured. What's it measured against? The new
Yeah.
CBDC. And I mean, you could argue that's already happening. I mean, the price of gold and silver have been going higher, meaning the dollar price is going lower, and it's also going lower as it's measured against something like oil, right? As gold goes higher, it's becoming less expensive in terms of oil, more expensive in terms of dollars. So yes, as something that is demanded that way, it would push up the value, but against what? And so if the only currency is a CBDC, when you come back out into the ecosystem, what do you switch into? And that's
Yeah.
something that there's really no way around. But giving it, let's just say, it would have a greater impact on its scarcity, on the ability to accumulate it. Because if it is the only red pill, if you will, exodus from the matrix, how hard is it going to be able to find the red pill? And what is it worth in that respect? Maybe more than the new currency would tell you it's worth. Maybe there's a greater demand in the black market, if you will, if that is the only way of trading, as he says, outside the CBDC. Then what is its real value? And that's, what's a box of 9mm bullets worth if you have a gun and no bullets and there's insurrection? People are going house to house. So what is its real value? Well, measured against what? And I would say in the CBDC, you'll start to see perceived value greater than the price that is put upon it.
With many people holding silver until the gold to silver ratio is in line with where it should be, is there a likelihood of there not being enough gold available for silver holders to swap
That's
when the
that's the
ratio is much?
one that is the only issue that I could ever see. And I tell that to people. If there was a black swan in that, or a flaw in the ideology, it would be that gold would be tougher
Yeah,
to get if it coincided with some sort of an event. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess that could happen. Look at all the things that have happened in the last 3 years that none of us would have ever thought were possible.
yeah,
So that would be the only fatal flaw. I do think that it's still a opportunity worth taking advantage of to a degree. Um, some people would like Bix Weir would tell you maybe not go back into gold, but being that it is the only other tier one asset in the world, to me, it makes good sense. You don't have to do it with all your silver. But I saw it in 2010. I first started talking about the swap. It was the second time in human history that we had a 85-to-1 ratio. And I called Bix and I said, Bix, let's do a podcast. I think it was the first one I ever did. And we told people, hey, it's 85-to-1. It's happened one other time in history. Trade your gold right now, get 85 ounces of silver in theory. And within 7 or 8 months, in mid 2011, anyone who would have traded their gold to 85 ounces of silver would have only needed 37 ounces to go back into an ounce of gold, which was just below its 200-year average of roughly 42 to
yeah,
1. It was $50 silver and 1915 gold. That's 37 to 1. Anytime you get farther away from historical averages, the magneticism that regresses to the mean or pulls you back to the average becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. So I think it's a once in a generation opportunity, actually, and I would actually take a chance with it, even knowing that that is a potential pitfall.